You feel this nervousness on the phone there?
Sir, I've been trying to make an urgent phone call up there.
Well, I don't think it's something I want to do on an overseas phone.
You gotta make some phone calls. Hang up the phone. Prank caller. Prank caller.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Packernet After Dark. This is the call-in show of the Packernet Podcast Network. If you'd like to call in, if you'd like to participate in the show, please feel free to do so. The phone number here is 608-501-0718. New callers go directly to the front of the line. I promised no skipping, so I think what we'll do is we'll kind of do a little of each. We're going to do some of the older ones, some of the newer ones, and we'll see how it goes. So, with that said, let's go with Nico from Idaho.
Brian, how the heck are you? This is Nico in Idaho.
Oh, wonderful.
Just calling about the game. I didn't get a chance to watch it. I actually forgot today was Thursday until I was headed to my job site. And I'm like, oh, that's right. I wonder if it's preseason started. And I looked at my phone. It was already 3-0 us, which I thought, hey, if it's 3-0, that means somebody kicked a field goal. So that's good. So once I got to my site, I looked at some stuff. And by then, I looked for, like, if you were live streaming or if anyone else that I knew was live streaming, and no one was. So I just typed in live stream and YouTube and listened to some guy kind of go play-by-play. It was all right, you know. I was working, so I couldn't hear everything. But I heard the good parts. You know, the beginning, I guess, was better. Great stat for all you Chicago's Bears fans, just so you know. I mean, even our fourth quarterback, what's the guy's name? Something Browns. He hasn't even thrown an interception this year. Because that's all Chicago Bear fans care about is how many interceptions.
Sure.
Caleb Williams didn't throw anyways. And I guess a few people got hurt. I Googled who it was. I didn't recognize any of them except for Kennard. So I figured he was going to get hurt anyways. So I'm not even counting on him. So no one majorly got hurt. And smacked a bunch of field goals. I guess a 58-yarder that he did like twice, or he did one and it got, like I said, I didn't hear everything. But I guess he smacked some field. That's honestly the most important thing. No one got hurt, and he kicked some field goals. Guess what was a 58-yarder?
Yep, 58-57, I think. Literally.
So I'm happy about that. I guess also our seventh receiver, the other tall guy, not Sturtevant, but the other guy whose name I don't know, but he's another 6'4" dude who's been making some noise in, training camp. Honestly, if we could keep that guy, I like tall dudes. Who doesn't like tall dudes? You already know I like big, beefy men on the O&D line. Right. But if you've got a bunch of receivers at a 6'4", that's kind of a game breaker. But anyways, no one got hurt. Trace, not I know of so far. Trace Mack kicked some field goals. Marshawn Lloyd didn't get hurt. I'm knocking on the side of my truck right now. So that's pretty good. And no, my truck is not made out of wood, but I'm sorry. It's the closest thing I could get to it. And so, yeah, I'm happy. I could care less about the score. I know some people do, and, I guess whatever. But, yeah, so we're good. So go, Pack, go.
No, I mean, it really was all around pretty good. I obviously went through my thoughts on it already. You can kind of see why I skip calls sometimes, just because some of this is we've already talked about, and some of it is like talking about drones. Obviously, he's gone already. But it's good to hear the feedback and what people think about the game, and I concur. Omar, what's up?
Hey, what's going on? It's Omar the Firefighter. How y'all doing? Halftime of the game. Want to do a quick scouting. One, shout out to Smack. He been just making these long field goals and short field goals, and he's looking like we don't have to worry about him if he keep playing like this. That's what I'm talking about. I'm proud of him. Second, this is a piss me off mode. One, why do we have Cisse, our starting cornerback, and probably our best cornerback, on special teams? Like, that's terrible. We need to take that off. Like, that's pissing me off because I get special teams are important, but I think we're like one of the only few teams in the league that has starters playing on that. And you can't have your number one corner on special teams I'm sorry. It's just no. Because he does that, and he getting tired, and then he got to go cover Justin Jefferson. Like, come on, that's dumb. Like, we need to stop that. We need to grow up. That's what I want to say. Also, shout out to him again, Cisse, for making a tackle. He's doing a good job. I'm happy for what he done. Then let's go to the next thing. We need depth at the secondary bad. I know we got a lot of backups playing, but I'm talking about as far as cornerbacks. Whoever the best, highest graded cornerback is after the final cuts, or there's a preseason and they're like borderline, we need a trade for them or something. We have to do something because we have no depth at cornerback, and it's like, how are we going to cover, Dallas receivers and stuff like that? Like, not trying to, pull the alarm and be stressed, but if one of our cornerbacks get hurt, it's going to be a problem. So we need to definitely add some better depth. I'm liking how the defense is playing. The defense is playing pretty good. Players that I didn't think were going to be doing anything are showing up, for the most part, against their starters. So it's a pretty good game. It's exciting. It's to be like a low-scoring game. Like, one other person I got to give some hate to is Belton. Belton is trash. I'm happy they finally said it, that he just lost his job starting at
I got to give a shout out to Belton, and I'm like, what the heck did you see in Belton?
guard, and he sucks at tackle. I wonder what his PFF grade is, but he just looks horrible out there. He's not blocking anybody. Even like in the wrong block, he's missing blocks. It's just horrible. But either way, if we get an upgrade, that's still a win-win. Other than that, the O-line looked pretty good. So, all right, go Pat, go.
Yeah, so I didn't really know. I kind of looked at it as you were talking. I just pulled up the top 10 cornerbacks to see if they were on special teams. I think that there's a couple that were, but they're not like known. They just had like a good year. It's not, if I said like Jerry and Jones, would anybody think of him as a superstar? He was, again, one of the highest graded corners last year, but I think he probably went into it as a non-superstar that had a really good year. Otherwise, there's guys that really don't do it very often. There's onesie, twosie here and there. Mike Jackson played like 4 on punt return. The one thing that a lot of these guys will do is field goal block. Try to get him to fire off the edge to get a field goal block. The only guy that really doesn't surprise me is also on special teams is Cooper DeJean. Cooper DeJean, 4 on kick return, 76 on kick coverage, 16 punt return, 2 field goal block. So he's running down there. Otherwise, the top 10, unless it's a field goal block, they're not usually going out there. I don't know. We'll see if they end up using them or not on that. Like you said, they're not really afraid of using starters. And I remember that a long time ago, back to Mike McCarthy, I think it was, where they were talking about how it was actually the opposite conversation. Everybody else uses their starters on special teams, and that's why they have better special teams than us. So we're going to have to actually ask these guys to step up and do it. So I don't know. We'll see. But I agree. He had a really good day. Belton, I was willing to buy the whole he's going to be the Bullard this year, but it's certainly not looking that way. It looks like he lost his job, and he's competing to be the number 2 right tackle. So I just, the hit rate on I like him because he's big, I got to tell you, it's not great. The guys we go out and get that have the size, that road grader size, and I would kind of include Sean Ryan in that. Aaron Banks is one of those guys. Obviously Belton is one of those guys. It's a shockingly low hit rate. And who are the guys that play well? You got Jordan Morgan's looking good. He's not a road grader. That's a traditional Packers tackle. Tall, lean, athletic. He's like a David Bakhtiari. And I don't want to be sort of an anti-size guy, but I just get that impression, kind of similar to how Gutekunst likes the speed guys or this or that, which I hate. And it'll work once in a while, right? I think Golden's going to be a hit. Christian Watson was a hit. You could argue they got Jaden Reed because of his speed, especially if you take their, not saying exclusively, but the speed. If you take the fact that they clocked him a lot faster than his 40 time, some of these guys will pan out. But the big size offensive linemen for the sake of size, I mean, they had such an unbelievable hit rate. And what did they do? We all knew what they did. They got tall, athletic tackles, and they either played tackle or they moved in to be athletic guards. All right, now we have to unplug the Alexa. Thank you very much. Things ding-donging every second. The heck was I saying? It's just so they had the formula, and the formula worked, and now we're just going to get these big road graders, and they just can't play football, and I'm freaking tired of it. All right, let's get a newer call on the news side of things. I think this is... I can't see, dude. I'm freaking blind. Actually, it's only 10 minutes. Let's take a break because it's got to be kind of a short episode anyways. We'll take a break. We'll be right back with Garrett from Southern Illinois.
Hey, Ryan, it's Garrett from Southern Illinois.
Hello.
Just wanted to call in to give my 2 cents for what is basically the consensus of how Green Bay played in the preseason game against the Steelers. I think first and foremost, starter health is most important. We got out of that pretty much unscathed. I thought that the team played disciplined to a point. The starters did have some good plays put together. The lack of scoring any touchdowns is kind of a little bit concerning, but they did move the ball, and that's a good sign. They did play disciplined, relatively clean, avoiding, flags for the most part. So that's a good sign. Special teams, I think we're a bright spot. Smack going 4 for 4, scoring all the team's points. That's a good sign. So we had our concerns, and for the first preseason game, he kind of put those concerns to bed. But now the second half, I kind of thought there was pretty huge drop off. Once the deep backups got in there, it just seemed like it was allowing touchdowns to Pittsburgh just left and right. I think you and I could have played quarterback and looked pretty good back there.
Died back there.
Tackling, I don't know if anybody's touched on this yet. The tackling has got to get better, man. There are just so many times where I thought that they had a play and the effort, like on Nixon, just making a business decision in a preseason game is beyond me. How, if you're fighting for your spot, the effort from Nixon to me was just obnoxiously bad in some plays.
The Keyshawn thing is getting kind of rough. I do think so. One of the funny things here is that what is his name? One of the beat writers. He's really carrying the water a lot for Keyshawn, and part of it is because, and I think he's right about this, the fan base is too low on him. I just think the fan base is wrong about how horrific. I saw somebody say I would offer Jair a 1-year contract to come back and play instead of Keyshawn. Listen to me. That's dumb. Okay? That's dumb. Keyshawn is a mediocre cornerback. Yes, he maybe isn't the best tackler. You know what? Probably 70% of corners suck at tackling. Okay? They're not freaking linebackers. They're corners. They can't catch, and a lot of them can't tackle. That's how it goes. Jair is it's over, it's over. He was not mediocre down the stretch. He was an absolute liability. He couldn't even get a starting job with the Baltimore Ravens, who needed help. However, Keyshawn is obviously not a premier corner. He's a decent stopgap if you don't have anybody better, but he's not somebody that you would really want as a solid corner option. Then you've got obviously a bunch of stuff that just really pisses off the fan base, which is why, and probably the coaches too, to be fair. The comments he makes, and I know Matt LaFleur kind of laughed at one of them, which whatever, fine. But now he's come out with this whole, like, I guess I'm being punished thing because I don't even remember the context anymore. I mean, I still think he's the number 2. Maybe it's because he's not the number 1. I don't really know. I don't remember what the context was. But, he's saying I was punished, and then it's Wildy, I think, is trying to downplay it and whatnot, and everybody else is like, no, this is the worst thing ever. He's a piece of crap. It's just kind of a disaster. It's not good. And it's just, there's something with these frickin' corners that happens every single time. There's a personality clash, and it's just not clicking with the locker room. It's not clicking with the fan base. Something is just off all the time with the frickin' corners. I still don't think he loses his job to St. Juice. I think he's already lost his job to Cisse. I think everybody agrees on that. The team has agreed on that. The fans are on board. We're all on board. Cisse is number 1. I don't know if he's going to be good or if he's going to be great or if he's going to be subpar or above average or what exactly his thing is, but he's the number 1 corner. And again, I still believe that St. Juice is going to be, I got to say, every time there's breaking news, I'm trying to finish my sentence and read at the same time. It's a difficult thing to do. I still believe he's going to beat St. Juice. I think the St. Juice hype has a lot to do with the fact that his name isn't Keyshawn Nixon. That's pretty much the only reason everybody loves him. It doesn't matter who it is. They just want him to win, so it's not Keyshawn Nixon. We need to stop doing that. We need to start wishing for the best corner in this situation, and I think Keyshawn is better than Benjamin St. Juice. I could be wrong. And again, he's trending in the wrong direction. When you're putting these weak tackle attempts on tape, that's not good. When you're making whiny comments about, I guess I'm being punished, and he's reaching out to Bisaccia, right? It's sort of like, kind of like Rodgers with McCarthy. Like, I wish the people that I liked were here. All the people that I liked are gone. Jordy's gone, and Devontae's gone, and McCarthy's gone. All the guys are gone, and I'm stuck with these freaking idiots. Keyshawn came in with Jair, with Bisaccia, with all these guys, and now they're gone, and there's a bunch of people that don't like me, and they're trying to replace me, and they're trying to take my job, and they're punishing me. And I kind of understand the argument from, I don't know if it was Tausch or who it was. Maybe it was the other offensive lineman that was talking, but kind of going down the avenue of, well, sometimes you just say stuff. You just kind of, you can't take everything 100% because sometimes you're just trying to think of an answer off the top of your head and you say something, and maybe it's stupid. The problem is, I don't know what you possibly could have meant. How do you accidentally say, I guess I'm being punished? I can't wrap my head around that. So again, we can try to defend it and brush it away as much as possible, but it's a bullcrap comment. It's stupid. And not only is it stupid, but you have to be smart enough to recognize when that thought comes to your head, I probably shouldn't say it out loud. I don't know what it means, but it's such a whiny thing to say. It's like, well, later he went on to say, like, I'm just here to work and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, later he recovered and started saying the pre-programmed things he was taught how to say. But the thing he said first is probably the thing he really feels, which is also a crazy thing because apparently in his mind, he doesn't believe he's a lesser corner. He believes he's better than everybody else, and they're just not putting him out there because they don't like him. It's one of those stupid things. Oh, my teacher gave me a bad grade because she doesn't like me. Again, the fan base is too hard on Keyshawn. I don't want to blow every single thing out of proportion, but this guy just keeps stacking on stacking on stacking on stacking. Just go out there, compete, do a good job, and be a team player. Do not whine and complain. Nobody wants to hear that, especially a fan base, again, probably not entirely your fault, but a fan base that freaking hates you, and a locker room and coaching staff that probably isn't too far behind. Just saying. So
that's got to improve. That's got to improve. I thought the defensive line did play pretty good. There's always, that you have to wonder how much does Gannon unlock these guys? Does his play calling just bring something different with some of these guys, and who knows? Well,
my fear at this point, and obviously it's too early, but you look at it and you're like, man, the pass rush is phenomenal. The entire game, the run defense and pass rush, that defensive front was fantastic. The problem was the back end was dog crap. So, I mean, look, I can send fire blitzes all day long and say, look how good of a pass rush coach I am. However, people are putting 40 points up on us all day because they're just throwing to wide open guys on the back end. So we have to make sure that if we're going to do this, and I don't know that we do this even when Micah comes back, probably less of the exotic blitzing stuff. I don't know. But we got to make sure that with Cisse, Bullard, Keyshawn or St. Juice or whoever, McKinney, Williams, and our linebackers, that they can handle what they need to handle on the back end. Because what we saw in that preseason game with the backups primarily, but we saw on the back end that the front wins, the back loses. And if they can't handle it, then we got to chill. We got to chill on sending blitzes and all that kind of stuff. We can't send corners if the guys can't pick up the slack. So it was fun. It was exciting. But the biggest thing I took away from that, and you know, this doesn't happen in training camp. The defense generally wins. I haven't been hearing pressure. However, Jordan 40, 20, 30 touchdown. I don't know. I'm interested to see more. I think it's a fun defense. And I said this from the beginning, if it is going to be a more exotic blitzy thing, which is all the fans want, you got to understand everything's a trade-off. And the trade-off here is that you have the opposite of the bend don't break, which means more explosive plays. It's going to look more like Dom Capers back in the day, where they're completing these 40-yard passes down the field, and you want to just frickin' stick a pencil in your eye socket. Somebody's getting to the quarterback, getting there, throws it up and caught for 38 yards on a frickin' 4th and 36. Sorry, let me let you finish, and we'll call
We'll have to wait and see. But all in all, I was encouraged by it. I was encouraged by it, but, you know, there's lots of room for improvement. So couldn't really understand the last Pac-Man after dark. A lot of the sound was jacked up, so didn't really understand most of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was freaking annoying. So I was doing Packernet After Dark, and I noticed that the audio was all jacked up. I'm sure nobody listened, but if you did, you heard that. And I was all annoyed. I had to replay like 4 different calls. And I went back until the audio was clean. So I'm like, okay, so it was only this far back, so it's fine. So I re-recorded like 3 or 4 calls. I redid the whole thing, finished the podcast, and then I go to upload it, and when I'm trying to find where to put the ads in, I have to listen to different things. The audio was jacked up. So it must have been doing it the whole time, and maybe there's a little clean spot that I don't know what happened. But I thought, look, I don't know what to do. I'm not re-recording the entire thing. I'm not doing that. I can delete it and say screw it, or I can upload it, and if you saw, and I don't think a lot of people saw it because I keep getting people telling me, hey, your audio's messed up. I know, I put that in the title. I literally put sorry for the audio or something in the title. So, I mean, look, it's just one of those things that it's there if you want to suffer through it or find the good patches. It's also there to tell you that I did it. And I'm not lying when I say, hey, I kind of deleted 8 calls or however many calls I did in that episode. I'm not lying about that. I actually did it and responded and all that bull crap. So there you go. All right, we'll take a break. We'll get to Garrett part 2.
Hey, Ryan, it's Garrett from Southern Illinois.
Hello.
I've had a chance to gather my thoughts concerning what I think this team potentially could be for the season. I want to get into jump on the prediction train and give you my prediction since we're already got one preseason game under the belt.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to lay it down and say, I will say this first. I have been always a super optimistic person when predicting in the past. I've generally always said minimum of 12 wins since Jordan Love has become the quarterback. They've reached that sometimes, and last year they kind of fell short. Injuries are always something you can't predict. So this year, considering what I think the NFC North is a little weaker, I'm going to go for a 12-5 prediction.
Ooh.
I was on the fence of saying 11-6, but I think Green Bay has got a better quality team than anybody else in the NFC North, in my opinion.
Well, I always appreciate the optimism. I mean, look, I would say there's no reason they necessarily can't. I'm not going to say they're not a good enough team, but you know how I get with the freaking variables and math and stuff. It's just tough. It's just tough to do. They would have to be healthy in order to pull that off, obviously, and I mean that relatively. I don't mean everybody has to be healthy. I just, can't have catastrophic injuries for extended periods of time. It's also just tough because you're playing tough opponents, and a lot of these games are pretty close to 50-50, including in your division. The Lions games are going to be close to 50-50, the Bears games, and now the Vikings games, which I know a lot of people think we're going to walk all over them. Right now, we are underdogs, week 1, which shocked me to see that. Again, it's basically a coin flip, but the idea that we're going to walk in there 10-point favorites ain't going to happen. So that doesn't mean that they're right, but, it's going to be a tough slog, and I am optimistic about the construction of the roster. We'll have to see about special teams. We got some smack news trending in the right direction. Obviously, we have a good punter. We'll see about the rest of it. I'm actually very encouraged by the coverage units. They seem significantly better than Bisaccia and what he was running. The penalties did start flying a little bit at the end, but I mean, Bisaccia, everybody was so late to the ball. It was unfreaking believable. I don't know what the difference is, but guys are there as soon as the ball gets there. And the penalties were not every single time, at least until later. So that was encouraging, and we'll have to see about this defense and what Gannon can do. If that's a disaster, we're in trouble. The offense, I think, is good enough to overcome some stuff, but if this is going to be, every time we score, they're going to come charging right down the field and score again. Can't stop the run, can't cover, we either have to blitz to generate pressure, but when we blitz, we can't cover. You get into that trap. I don't know. But I like the team. I genuinely like the team. What that materializes into, I don't know. But I really, more so than I would say in a while. I mean, last year, obviously, I felt really, really good when we got Micah. This year, it's hard to say I feel as good, but I feel better about a lot of things. I feel better about Christian than I did last year because we didn't really have him. Plus, I didn't really. In the time he was here, we saw an even better version of Christian than we had seen. Obviously, we didn't have Jaden. We have Jaden now. Tucker we had, but we didn't see his big breakout last year, so that's big. Hopefully, this healthy offensive line will at least be better than last year. So, it's tough without Micah starting week 1 to say this, but I would say I feel better about this team, assuming it's healthy, than I have in quite a long time. I don't know when exactly the last time I felt this good about the roster construction. And that's offense, all 3 phases. Obviously, 2019, 2020, 2021, I was feeling very, very good, especially about the offense. Defense, special teams, maybe not so much. All right, let's jump back to another old one. We got Green Bay 10.
Hey, Ryan. Green Bay 10 here.
What's up?
I'm on my walk here at lunch, and I just listened to your last podcast about love and MVP.
Okay.
Tonight is the Pittsburgh game against Rodgers. I think some of the biggest challenge, and I know you know this from me, and the calls I made last year. And the thing that's concerning me with all of your updates on practices and training camp, and it's my theme every time I call, is the offensive line. Everything that sounds great about our defense, convert it, how bad is our offense? And again, that offensive line. I'm hearing us making tackles behind the line. I'm hearing us getting his Love. I'm hearing Love not having a lot of time to throw. So, going to be really interested tonight to watch that offensive line and see how they do. And, is Belton going to play? That's going to be an isolation. The new guy, Burton, isolate on him. And then definitely watch our tackles. With Zach coming off the knee, And then we got our new left tackle. So really going to pay attention to that offensive line and just see where we are with that, because we can be great on defense, but we need Love, and we need Love to be good, and he needs time. We need a good running game.
Yeah, obviously a little tough to hear you there, but from what I was able to gather, let me just say this: this is one of the negative things about this time of year training camp. Training camp, for the most part, there are some plays that are just bad across the board, but for the most part, every single play, when you have something positive, you have something negative. Every time there's a pick, it's like, heck yeah, McKinney with the pick, but also, Jordan, what happened? So this is where if you lean positive or lean negative, you really, really can get carried away in either direction. You know, all these positive notes. Look at how amazing everybody looks amazing. Jordan looked great, and the defense looked great, and the offense looked great. But you can also do that in the negative. You know, every reception, a corner messed up. And where's the pass rush? Every time there's pass rush, where's the offensive line? You know what I mean? So, one of the things I remember, and I don't remember it well, so I shouldn't pretend that I do, but this would have been a couple years ago, 3-4 years ago. Man, we thought we had the meanest defense. We were trying to get mean. It must have been Pettin. Maybe it was around Pettin, because I remember Pettin trying to be mean and all this stuff, and we thought we were the toughest guys, and they were really, the defense was dominating the offense. They were just getting after it, and we're like, oh, we got something here. And then that first practice we had, where it was against, I think it was against the Patriots or something, and they whooped the living crap out of our defense. We didn't get any pressures. And I remember they were talking so much trash. They were like fake, they calling them fake tough guys. And it was demoralizing. Even over here, I'm not even watching it. I'm getting it like third hand, fourth hand through the internet on social media. And I'm feeling embarrassment about these guys who thought that they were tough just getting wrecked. The point is, you don't really know what you have until it gets out there. And the point beyond that is that you still don't know, because it's going to change. You finally get to see it in the preseason, except that's not anything. So then you wait until the regular season. And then, like, look what happened last year, week 1. Oh, this is the best defense that's ever existed. Like, this is going to be the freaking 86 Bears. This is going to be an elite defense. And then by week 2, it's like, oh, never mind, we freaking suck at football. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't even know what to take from that. And I hate this take. I say it all the time, but I hate it because it basically just means we never know anything, so why bother? We don't ever know anything. So I don't know. We'll see what we have. And even when we find out, it can change. But I agree that I hope that the offensive line can step up. I want to see something better. We really need either Burton or Monk to step up. I'm skeptical, to be completely honest. I think the team loves Monk. I think Monk is probably another like Sean Ryan or worse type player. They like his attitude. They like his grit. They like this and that. And Burton, I think, is currently below Monk, which is why I'm a little skeptical about how things are going. And the reason I believe that is what I've already said. I think the right guard job is the one that's up for grabs, and Monk has been the one that's been sitting there, with Burton kind of backing up at left guard. Not that he can't beat Aaron Banks, but I already went over all that. Probably won't beat out Aaron Banks unless he's just hurt. All that to say, I'm skeptical, but I'm hopeful. Fingers crossed that they're at least better than what we had last year. We have to have some ability to run the ball. Jordan is incredible, and our receivers and Tucker Kraft are incredible, and they can do amazing things even without a run game. But it's freaking hard, and it's a grind, and it's harder than it needs to be. So, what time is it? I'm going to call it. It's 9:55. That gives me 5 minutes to get it uploaded. But I will talk to you all tomorrow. We should have more practices and whatnot, so stay tuned. Make sure you check into the podcast. Again, some people have been, I guess, a little confused when they check the phone. They look at the top one. They're like, oh, shoot, I guess it's Sal or something today. check the dates, because generally you're going to have one of each podcast each day. So if you're looking for a recap for the training camps, I've been doing that every single training camp practice. Also, go to packersgames.com, click on the link on the top that says camp. Every single note from social media, and I mean every single one, was copy and pasted in there. Now, AI kind of translates it a little bit, but the bottom line is the notes are there. And it's organized by the practice. So you can go to practice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 through 12, and 13, I think, tomorrow. And you can also go by player. That may be a little disorganized. I organized it, but then there's been a couple other days. But for the most part, it's relatively organized if you want to check out the notes of these guys. But again, make sure you tune in, and we'll go through all the notes live, and it'll be a good time. I'll talk to you later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.